Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the DRP, the Data Recovery Plan. And what does that really mean for a startup? You know, if you are a startup, you need to be able to control what you have, the IT side of your business, because if you don't have your software running, maybe you are going to run out of business. And the first things to do, and what's the role of the DRP, is to the DRP is a document that proves that you have a procedure to follow just in case of there is, I don't know, a big crash on your data center, or maybe someone just erased your server or access to your database, etc., etc. You need to have a procedure to follow that describe how to restart, how to patch something if there is an issue, etc., etc. So the first things to do when you are about to write down your own data recovery plan is to define what is acceptable for your business. Can you have your application, your website, your platform down for 24 hours, as example? Maybe it is acceptable. Maybe it can be acceptable for a week. If you are a bakery, as example, and you have a website, that can be acceptable. I think it depends on your business, of course, but I think depending on who you are, how much you are willing to invest, and how mature your business is, it can be acceptable for your platform to be down for a certain amount of time. So first things, to define what are the requirements, if you can accept to be down for 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 week. And then based on that, you are going to seek for solutions to meet that what is acceptable for you. So second things, when you define that, what is acceptable for you and your clients, to not maybe lost trust of your clients, start to write down your documentation, your data recovery plan, and it will contain 6 parts. The first part that I recommend you is to describe how the backups works and to have a well-tested procedure to restore backups. So describe every type of backups, files, database, applications, etc. Describe how you are going to backup things outside of your current data center and what is the procedure to follow if you want to restore your infrastructure somewhere else. So that's important to have that backups and a well-tested procedures. The second thing that is important, the second part, is to describe what is the external infrastructure ready to deploy. And most of the time, I recommend to have 2 cloud providers, or at least the same cloud providers or hosting providers, but with different data centers, maybe different city in the world. And in that case, why do we need a second data center? It's just in case, like if there are, I don't know, a plane who crashed on that data center, or there is I don't know, bomb attack or whatever, the things that can happen on a data center. In that case, you need to anticipate what would happen with your own data, with your current business, and how would you be able to restore your infrastructure in someone else's data center or in another data center or another company. So the second part was this, an external procedure to redeploy your infrastructure on another data center. And for that, what is great is to use the infrastructure as code solution. Infrastructure as code is something that allows you to deploy the same infrastructure that you have somewhere else. It's just a script that describes like start this type of server, then deploy this application, then this and that and that and that. And then you will have a procedure. You can just run that script, and 10 minutes after, you can have deployed maybe 50 servers, and your infrastructure might be up and running again. So that's a bit more complex to set up. Of course, it requires some time for engineers, for DevOps engineers to set up this infrastructure. But once you have that, wow, that's just amazing. And it really allows you as a startup to save a lot of money, because you will not have to have 2 data centers up and running on 24/7, but you will be able to restore your application and restart your application on a second environment. Then next will be the data synchronization. The third part of your DRP will describe how you handle the data synchronization, and more specifically, the database synchronization. Because when someone updates their account, their profile, their password, whatever, the data is saved in this data center, in this in the database. So your database have to be synchronized on your backup. And usually the database is backed up maybe every days, not that much, maybe every hours at maximum. But what happens if you have some banking transactions? Or what happens if you have, I don't know, anything that is with a time constraint? You will need to be able to restore your infrastructure with the last information that has been saved if you have some transaction, as example. So in that case, you have several options, but the best options is to have what we call standbys between database. And then every time you will have a transaction on the database A, this transaction will be replicated almost real time on the database B. And this database B can be on another data center as well. So that's really what I recommend, and the cloud providers can really helps you to have this type of automation. It's really very, very good. And it also allows you to restore point in time, which means you can restore a specific database at a specific time in the past. Maybe yesterday at 11 o'clock, before something crashed or before someone erased some data, you can restore exactly a copy of that database at that exact time. And that's really, really good. Next, what you need to have in your DRP is the knowledge management aspect. So the entire description of your solution, the architecture, how it works, what type of technology it uses, where the source code are saved, what is the deployment process to deploy the new application from the source code to your provider, to your hosting provider or to your servers. All the knowledge base, the knowledge management side will need to be here, describing how your system works. So the goal is for any new developer, any new engineer that is going to work on your solution, by just reviewing that part, will understand your business and will be able to handle and to restart and to maybe improve your current solution. Next parts are about password and encryption keys management. It's important to never ever put passwords in the documentation. Never put passwords or encryption keys in the documentation. Always have that on something else. Usually we could talk about a private and specific encrypted environment where you can save your password. It can be a trunk, whatever virtual trunk you can use, but definitely using a specific area for password and encryption keys. And very last thing will be the decision, the sixth part will be about the decision procedures. How are you going to make decision for your business in case of, and then you just mentioned, in case of the data center crash, the entire data center crash, what's the procedure to follow? In case of someone erased some data, what's the procedure to follow? In case of someone stole some data, like as example, to stole some customers' information, what is the procedure to follow, etc., etc. You need to anticipate these type of procedures. So of course, as a startup, you are not going to be perfect. Your DRP is not going to be perfect for sure. What you need to seek is to start as soon as possible this document. Start as soon as possible to gather all the technical documentation of your solution to be sure that one day, whenever it will be mandatory for your business to have a proper DRP, you will be able to have it properly. And it will also help you if you're in the B2B market to convince some of your clients, because they might ask for you to have this type of procedure to be sure that they can trust on your solution. So I hope it helps. I hope maybe even if you are not there yet, it will invite you to start right now to gather all the technical documentation of your solution. Ask that to your developers. Ask as much information. Ask some schema of your architecture, etc., to be sure that it fits to what you will need in the future, as well as it will help you if you need to grow your team, so that the new team will be able to handle the technical side of your business. Wishing you a great day, and I'm going to talk to you again soon in another episode. Bye for now.